From Amateur Radio Newsline Report, number 2162, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, April 10th, 2019. We begin this week's report with news of an event that pays tribute to radio officers who serve as a lifeline to ships at sea. This is a worldwide activity, and organizers are looking to expand participation this year.
It started with 5 amateur radio operators: Alfredo, IK6IJF, Rolf, DL9CM, Giuliano, I1SAF, Olivier, F6DGU, and David, G3PLE. Now, a decade later, it has grown into a favourite tribute on the global radio calendar. It is the International Maritime Radio Day, and it operates to honour radio officers through the years, those who provided wireless communication services to vessels at sea. This year, it is taking place from 1200 UTC, Sunday the 14th of April, until 2200 UTC on Monday the 15th of April. All former radio officers who have an amateur radio licence are encouraged to get on the air and be part of the event. Organisers write on their website that they are particularly interested in attracting new participants, especially from the United States and parts of the Far East. All communications will of course be conducted in Morse code on amateur radio bands closest to the international naval frequencies. To register, see this newscast's script at arnewsline.org, where the website URL is given. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Ed Durant, DD5LP.
The search for a missing amateur radio operator in Pennsylvania ended recently with the discovery of his body.
An amateur radio operator who had been the focus of a missing persons alert has become a silent key. According to news reports, the body of Carl Messerschmidt, KA3RCS of Myerstown, Pennsylvania, was found on Saturday, March 30th in the Middle Creek Wildlife Area. The local coroner said that 2 hikers found the radio operator's body and that he had died of a single gunshot wound, believed to be a suicide. His body was found at the conclusion of a search that had begun after the man's Jeep had been found parked and unattended. Authorities mobilized horse-mounted, ATV, and on-foot search teams, drones, logistic teams, and the state police. According to the profile on his QRZ page, Carl had a keen interest in DXing, rag chewing, and AM operations. He was also rediscovering Morse code and had a burgeoning interest in summits on the air. Carl Messerschmidt was 46. He had been a licensed ham since the age of 14. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Heather Emby, KB3 TZD.
A ham radio operator captured the saga of a ship in distress off the coast of Norway and shared it with the media.
The dramatic distress call of a Norwegian cruise ship stranded in storm-tossed weather in late March was captured and recorded by a ham radio operator in Norway. The Viking Sky had 1,373 passengers and crew on board when it was crippled by power loss, engine failure and hazardous weather whilst off the Norwegian coast. Reports in Norwegian media indicated wind gusts of 43 miles an hour and wave heights exceeding 26 feet or 8 meters. According to a report in the USA Today newspaper, the ship had to drop anchor in order to avoid being dashed on the rocks. Broadcasters in Norway and Sweden reported that a radio amateur had intercepted the communications. They had been provided with his recording, but they did not state his identity. The ship, which sailed from Tromsø in northern Norway, had been bound for southern Norway in bad weather when the engine failed and the vessel listed taking on water. More than 10 hours of helicopter air evacuations took 464 passengers off the ship, but once the engines were able to be restarted, it was able to continue its journey to a Norwegian port. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
We're at the halfway point of the nominating period for the Newsline WA6ITF Young Ham of the Year Award. Full details and the nominating form can be found on our website, arnewsline.org, under the YHOTY tab. Nominations close May 31st at midnight Eastern Time. We'll present the award in August at the Huntsville Hamfest in Alabama. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at arnewsline.org. With Ed Durant, DD5LP, Heather Emby, KB3TZD, Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wellbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.